everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I am Sade Slaughter, and we are back in Money September with our Financial Awareness Live. Like always, we say you could be anywhere right now, but you decided to be right here with us. And that already shows your dedication to wanting a better financial future. So we want to be respectful of your time, so we'll jump right in. Now, for those who do not know, Generation Genesis is a nonprofit that I started that helps to empower generations to recreate their narratives. We do that through various community events, outreaches, webinars, lives like today. We also have an online community of people, resources, and talent. We also have a special place in our heart for those that struggle financially because we've all been there. And we've been in a place where we just couldn't seem to get our finances right, or at least we know someone who has. Financial literacy is so important because it helps break through those generational curses. It helps build those legacies. And let's just say it, life is easier when you understand money. So without further ado, I introduce to you Lacresia Lee of Lavish and Thrifty.
Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. Like today said, I am Lacresia Lee of Lavish and Thrifty. I created Lavish and Thrifty back in 2017 after I took a lavish trip to Dubai. Everybody wanted to know, like, oh my God, how did you afford to go to Dubai? Everybody thought it was so expensive, but they didn't know that it was a lavish trip, but it was also thrifty. And so I got really, really good feedback from the blog. So I turned my blog into a business, and that's how I came up with Lavish and Thrifty LLC. I also want to let you know that back in 2015, I lost my job, and that's when God dropped the vision in my heart to help people with their money. I got fired, and then it took me 4 months to find another job, but I was still able to pay all my bills, pay my mortgage without asking anyone for a dime. And that's because I was financially prepared. And it's very, very important to be financially prepared right now, especially during a pandemic, because you never know when your own, like, you might have your own pandemic to come into your life. You could lose your job at any day. You could have some health problems. You just got to be prepared for your own pandemic, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, what me and today are about to do, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that I am not a financial expert. We're not financial experts. You should reach out to your own financial advisors. These are just our financial opinions based off of our experience.
Thank you for that, Lucretia. All right, so I asked a little while ago some of our followers what financial questions they had, and they sent in a ton of questions. So Lucretia is going to give her best knowledge on these wonderful questions that you all had, because some of them I'm actually pretty curious too to know the answer to. So the first one, let's pull that up here. All right, so here's the first one. How do I know that I can actually afford to go back to school? That's a good one.
Interesting question. I'm not sure, but I could give you a few pointers to actually look at to see if school is the right thing for you at this very moment. So what you want to check out is, first of all, you want to see what school you want to go to and how much it costs. Then you want to figure out, well, what are you going to school for and how much you're going to make, coming out of school, so that you'll have money to pay back your student loans. You also want to see, definitely sign up for some grants, some scholarships, those type of things. And if you get money, if you end up getting grants and scholarships, then see how much you'll have left to pay on your own or have to do student loans for. Actually check your savings account. So even if you figure out how much school is going to cost, try saving for it. Maybe you need to save up for it and say, okay, once I have a certain amount saved, then I'll go ahead and go back to school. Also, you might want to check into some community colleges. I know now a lot of different states, they have where community college is actually free. So you want to take advantage of that, see what school actually has your program that you're trying to go to school for, and basically just see how much it's going to cost you. So definitely check and see how much do you have saved, how much is school going to cost, is my job going to actually pay enough once I finish school to pay back any loans that I might have to incur?
Whew, you said a mouthful. Is my job going to pay enough?
It's important. You want to just take some research on your career, because it's something that I did as well. I was going to school at first for communications. And I was like, well, what am I going to do in that? And then I switched to accounting because I was like, once I looked up some of the jobs and how much they were making, I was like, okay,
this is it.
I'm going to make a livable wage. I'm good.
This is where I want to be.
Actually.
Oh, man. I kind of had, I guess you could say a similar thinking, but mine didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I went to school. I went to school for business administration. Mm-hmm. And I was a pretty generic degree. Get any job with it, and you really could. Get any job with that degree, but not the best paying jobs. I still have student loans, and I've been out of school for some time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's very important. Yeah. That was good. All right, so the next question. The next question is electronic banking safe?
I'm gonna say anything with the word electronic in it has some risk. And that's just simply because anything on the computers, I mean, we know there's all types of things in the world. There's hackers. There's just a lot going on anytime you do anything electronic. But what makes it safer for you as an individual is if you are constantly changing your passwords, you have a hard password for somebody to crack, don't do something easy. Don't use your address. Don't have the last 4 of your telephone number in your password. Just make it a nice hard password. And I would say just continuously check your account if you're using online banking. You'll just want to continuously check to make sure there is no fraud or anything like that. I want to say ignoring your accounts is just not a good thing to do. So you'll want to make sure that you set aside time to just check every single day. Don't be careless with your cell phone or your computer. Especially if, you might have like if you're using putting up banking app on your phone, some people save their login. So you don't want to like have that information and just be careless with your phone. And then have people like trying to crack in, trying to get into the app, your banking app. But other than that, it's kind of safe. And if you're using a bank that's FDIC insured, it's pretty much like you're covered. So, I mean, if something were to happen, you should be able to get a good portion of your money back. So
that's good too. I actually use electronic banking. I'm with Ally, and I love them. They're awesome. Me too. I've never felt like, my information was at risk. I do change my passwords often, and they're not saved. So I think that's really good. This is a little bit off topic, but I was actually on Facebook earlier, and someone said that there's like this thing, these scammers are going around asking people for like their information, but in like the most creative ways. And I think one of the posts said like, write down your birthday as if it was an address. So people were like, like if they were born on November 7th, they would say, 1107, what is it, Scorpio Lane. And then they'll ask other questions like, oh yeah, well, what's your mom's middle name? Like things that, would basically go into like a security question. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I never even noticed that. So that's really good. That's really good. All right. So the next question is, what's the difference between a bank and a credit union?
Banks are for profit, and they are publicly traded, or some of them are privately owned. So basically, your rates and things of that nature are going to be a little bit higher than a credit union. Credit unions are owned by their members. So you'll usually get lower rates on your loans and things like that. So credit unions are not for profit and banks are for profit. There you go.
I've never noticed that. Never even thought to ask that question. That's really good. That's really good. All right. So next question. How do people save when their budget is already tight?
Woo! I know what you mean when you say your budget is tight. But if you're running a tight budget, I know some people say they have a tight budget, but you want to actually make sure that you're actually budgeting. So you're actually writing down your income and expenses. Some people say their money is tight because they're not writing anything down, they're not tracking anything. So, income, write down all your income and then write down all of your expenses. Subtract your expenses from your income, see how much money you have left over. You have a good amount of money left over, there's some money for savings. And you always want to make sure that you pay yourself first. But suppose your income, your expenses is greater than your income. You'll want to take a look at your expenses and start to scale back. So you'll want to say, like, if you're, a person who wants to get your nails, likes to get your nails done or your feet done, you might have to say, look, I might have to scale back on that for a while. I might have to go to the store and buy my own nail polish, buy my own foot kit, manicure kit, and I'm going to have to get to work because I can't afford to get my nails and feet done. I want to have some money to saved up. And it's important to have money saved because you never know what's going to happen. And so if your budget is already tight and then you don't have any savings and then something happens, you're automatically piling on more debt because you're going to run to the credit cards or you're going to run and get a loan to help cover whatever the expense is. So, I mean, we're always like, one drive away from something happening, the battery dying in the car, the transmission going, I don't know, something. We're always just one ride away so you want to be prepared for those type of things. So definitely actually write down your budget and actually track your expenses.
That is really good. Our pastor always makes this joke, and he says, "You ain't got no extra money." And he always says that because it's like, all of your money should have a purpose. Even if you are like saving it or putting it away for something, like it still has a purpose. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that stuck with me, and you just confirmed exactly what he said.
Every dollar gets a job.
Exactly. Exactly. I like that.
Dollar goes to work.
Exactly. That is good. That is good. All right. So next question. How is a credit report calculated?
Okay. So a credit report, your credits, I'm going to say your credit score is calculated using 5 different pieces of information. So the first category is your payment history. That's 35% of your score. The second category is your amounts owed. So that's 30% of your score. So amounts owed is normally known as like your utilization of your revolving debt. Length of credit history, that's 15%. New credit, that's 10%. And credit mix is 10%. So credit mix basically means a mix of revolving debt and installment debt. Installment debt can be considered like, a car loan. And then your revolving debt is usually known as credit cards. So those are the 5.
Wow.
Most important is that payment history. Pay your bills on time.
Okay. So I have a question. This is not in the questions that people sent, but my question is, what about the 7-year rule? Does everything always roll off of besides student loans?
I believe you have to check within your state.
Okay.
Check within your state to make sure that's, I think they call it the statute of limitations.
Mm-hmm.
I think not every state is different, but check your particular state on that just to see how many years they give you.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yes, it does come a point in time where it will actually roll off and it's like, don't even touch it because it'll rise back up from the dead. So
oh no. Not rise up from the dead.
That's start billing you and everything again. You'll start hearing from people.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I ain't touching nothing.
Let it be.
Oh, God. All right. That's good stuff. All right. Next question. Why should I care about my credit score?
So normally I would say your credit score might not matter if you're not trying to get anything. So you're not trying to buy a car with, and finance it, or if you're not trying to buy a home or anything like that. But it is important to kind of care about it and check on your credit, because you want to make sure that you're not a victim of identity theft. Like, anybody at any time can steal your identity and run up a whole bunch of credit in your name. And so you want to make sure that you pay attention to that so that you can get it fixed immediately. But if you're not purchasing anything, that will be the only reason why I would say you will probably want to care about it. And not so much maybe your score, but what is actually on your credit report. So the accounts that are actually on your credit report, you want to make sure that those are actually your things that you signed up for and not somebody else using your name.
That's good. That actually happened to me before. So I want to say about maybe 6, 7 years ago. I never checked my credit score. I just I didn't feel the need to back then. Things have changed. But I went on Credit Karma and saw something from Renter Center, and I was like, I've never had nothing from Renter Center.
Exactly.
Oh my God! And it took like a year for them to take it off.
Yeah,
it's clearly not even mine. I'm like, I have nothing ever from Renter Center. So yeah, that was interesting. Check
it.
Next question. How do I know I am ready to buy a home?
This is an interesting question as well. So you'll want to check a couple different things. So first, you'll want to see, do I pay my bills? Am I paying things on time right now? You'll want to ask yourself, do you have some type of emergency savings? Or like a house savings? Because if you're going to buy a home, then you are going to have maintenance issues. So you'll want to be prepared to pay for those things as they happen, because coming from a renter to a homeowner, you're responsible for all the maintenance. I'd say the third thing you want to check is you want to shop around. See what it is that you're looking for, see how much it costs, and then just start running some numbers. Really pull out your calculator, start running some numbers, see how much a down payment is going to cost you. Is there any first-time home buyer assistance? Those are the things that'll let you know if you're ready. But other than that, I would say, ask yourself, is this something that I really want to do? Am I ready to be responsible for everything? And if you're okay with that, I would say, go ahead and shop around, start looking for houses, shop around for a realtor, shop around for a mortgage lender, and really do your due diligence and do your homework. Don't just go with the first realtor. Don't go with the first mortgage lender. Shop around, see who has different programs that, might fit you. So those are some of the things that you can ask yourself.
That's good. Buying a home is the next level of adulthood. You grew up a little bit when you buy a home.
Yep.
It comes with some real responsibilities, and you have to take care of it. When you're a renter, something goes wrong with the house, like the AC goes out or something, you call the owner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you buy a house, you are the owner. That it takes it up a notch. So you got to really make sure you are financially ready and stable enough to handle responsibilities like that. So that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next question. How do I start investing? Do you recommend, so it's twofold. Do you recommend Bitcoin, Dogecoin? Is that Dogecoin or Dogcoin? or Robinhood?
Doge. So Dogecoin and Bitcoin are like cryptocurrency, and then Robinhood is like a platform you use to invest. Um, so to start investing, I'm just gonna say if you have a job that has a 401k and you invest in it, meaning a portion of your income, your paycheck every month goes into your 401k, that's investing. If you go to a bank and get an IRA, that's investing. Investing doesn't have to be these fancy things that are going on right now, like cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin and Dogecoin. You can use Robinhood as like a brokerage account if you want to invest in some stocks or things of that nature. I don't use Robinhood myself. I actually use Cash App for my like personal brokerage if I just want to, play around. I got some money in Apple and I think Tesla and some other stocks. I know Stash is also a good platform to use. That's what my fiance actually used. But there's a ton of brokerages out there that you can use. You got Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, like all of those are places that you can invest. But you don't have to do anything fancy. Like I said, a lot of people start investing just at their job in their 401k. And that's personally what I do. I have a 401k, I have an IRA that's outside of my job. And like I said, I play around a little bit on Cash App and invest in some individual stocks. But I'm more of a buy and hold type person. I'm not one of those people who are looking at everybody on social media and what they're investing in and saying, oh, let me try this because I don't have no money to lose on. You got to figure out your risk tolerance when you're starting to invest. Like you got to figure out how much risk you're willing to take on, because it is risky. It's a good thing to do. I definitely say that you should invest. It's a really, really good thing to do, but there's multiple ways of doing it. I think that you just do a little research and figure out the best way for you. And also don't limit yourself to the stock market. Maybe you can invest in real estate. That's also another way to start investing. You can also invest in startups, people's businesses that might not have the capital they need right now. You might say, hey, I'll invest in your business, if it's something that you believe in. But with everything that you do with investing, you'll definitely want to make sure that you do your research before you start.
That's really good. And it's so funny you mentioned something about 401k because that's actually what the next question is about.
Okay.
What's the point? 401k.
A 401k is really, really good. So like I said before, like you invest a portion of your paycheck into your 401k. And what's so good about it, most jobs have where they will do a company match. So I'm not sure if there's many companies out there now that do dollar for dollar, but if I put in, $300, they'll put in $300 if they're matching dollar for dollar. Some people match 50 cent, you know what I mean? If you put in a certain percentage. So it's really good for that because it's like, you don't want to not invest in or, participate in your company's 401k because you could be leaving money on the table and it's free money. So why not? Why not invest in it? And then you can also, the max that you can contribute in a year is $19,500. So if you're able to, you'll definitely want to max out your contribution for the year. I think that would be definitely important. So like I said, even if it's like dollar for dollar, it's like, okay, if I put in 19,500, guess what my company gonna do? They're gonna put in 19,500. So don't leave the money on the table. 401k is definitely worth it. It's definitely investing. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. So use it to your advantage.
That's really good. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Mm-hmm. All right. So This next question, I think I understood where they were going with this. It says, should I save for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year ahead of time?
I guess you would have to figure out on what it is that you're saving for. Um, Maybe they're saying how much should I have saved up at a time. I would probably say now that we're all experiencing a pandemic, it would probably be best to have 6 to 9 months of your living expenses saved up. Um, I personally have a little over a year, but that's just me because I'm like,
Come on, 1 year.
I'm ready for anything. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to be put behind because of no pandemic, me losing my job, something happening to me, whatever. Because, life happens to anybody. So you definitely want to make sure that you're prepared. Um, and if you're trying to save up for something in particular, you would just have to figure out when it is that you want to achieve that particular goal. So if you're saving up for a down payment on a house, you have to ask yourself, well, when is it that I'm trying to move? Am I trying to move 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now? So give yourself some time to actually save that money and really achieve that goal in the right way.
That's good. That's good. I saw a post on Facebook about a week ago. This girl was saying that her parents got divorced after 53 years of marriage, and it was because the wife, well, the husband was dying, and the wife didn't have enough saved up, and he had $288,000 worth of medical debt.
Wow.
And I'm like, you don't think about those things. Like, I mean, I don't know how realistic it is for somebody to have at least $300,000 saved for a situation like that. But just start.
Yeah.
Start now.
Start today. $5.
Right. Don't go to Wendy's. Put it in your bank account.
Put it in your bank account.
Don't get the 4 for 4.
Don't do it.
Oh God. All right, next question. This one, they straight up. I like to spend my money. What recommendations do you have for better financial discipline? I am single with no kids, to give some context.
Okay, so I was once single with no kids. I actually still don't have any kids, but I'm not single. So I'm looking over here right now at these little financial stickers I got, and it says, "Never spend your money before you have it." It's right there in the middle. I don't know if you can see it, but that's one thing that you don't want to do. I know a lot of people say like, oh, okay, I know I'm going to get paid 2 weeks from now. So I'm going to go ahead and spend this money. I'm going to go ahead and buy the shoes, these outfits. I'm going to go ahead and purchase the trip because my friends called me and they want me to go really bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and spend because I know 2 weeks from now, I'm getting a paycheck. So don't spend your money before you have it. That's number one. Number two, you want to make sure you budget. As I said before, income minus expenses is very important. This needs to be written down. If you don't like to write things down, do it on the computer. There's plenty of apps where you can input all of your information and it will calculate for you. You can also use Excel. There's just so many things now to help with that. So you'll want to make sure that you're not spending more than you make. And if you are, go ahead and scale back on your expenses. You want to make sure that you are paying yourself first every time you get paid. So pay yourself first, put it on. It's a line item, like a bill. It's going to go, this goes to my future. This goes to my future business. This goes to my emergency fund. This goes to whatever you name it for, pay yourself first. And I would say just really look at your needs versus your wants. I know a lot of us, we want a lot of things, but we don't need a lot of things. We don't need a lot of things to survive. We want those things. So you're going to have to really say, okay, this month I'm not going to buy any shoes. But next month, I actually have some money to buy some shoes. Or maybe I don't need to get my nails done every 2 weeks. I can go monthly, or I can go every other month, you know? So you really want to look at needs versus wants. Also, if you're anything like me, and my business is Lavish and Thrifty, because we spend wisely, live lavish over here, you won't buy anything at regular price. You will always look for the deals. And the thing about looking for deals on clearance, on sale, is that you have to be patient. You have to be patient. This takes a lot of patience. Like, some people wonder how do you not spend full price on things? Because I wait and I look. I wait and I look. That's it. Because I like to put the extra money that I save from buying things on clearance and on sale into my savings account, into my future, into my business. Because for me, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 too much longer here now. So that means I can't be out here purchasing things at full price. I can't do that. So that has to go to my future. It needs to go on my savings account. So when I leave my job, I feel comfortable enough doing that. You know what I mean? And now it's like, and even when you can actually, another way to get money, or, to have better discipline, is to sell some things. Instead of just always going to buy shoes, if you look in your closet and you see shoes that you don't wear a lot, go ahead and sell those things. And then you get the money from that and you say, oh, I could use this to purchase my shoes, these new shoes that I want. So I would say definitely just put down your goals. Like, what do you want your financial future to look like? Start there, and that will help you determine what it is I need to do to have the discipline that I need to achieve these goals. And then, like I said, find out how much it's costing you to actually live. A lot of us don't look at that. A budget will help you do that. So those are some of the things that I would suggest.
That's good. That's good. My grandma used to have this saying. She was like, "Y'all here robbing Peter to pay Paul." And when you find yourself in that situation where you're like taking from one area to pay for another area, it's time to reevaluate. It's time to reevaluate. When it start hurting, for real, it's time to reevaluate. So that's really good.
Yep.
Listen, because of you, I go to the clearance section of every store. And if they don't have a clearance section, it ain't for me.
I'm walking out, period.
Walking out. Oh, man. All right. So next question. How do you create multiple streams of income in the midst of pandemic times?
I'm going to say it can be done. First, it's a mindset thing too. If it's something that you want to do, then you'll do it. But I will say something about creating multiple streams. You might want to focus on one stream first. So, like, I definitely believe that all of us need something outside of our 9 to 5. I know I do. I have probably like 2 things going on outside of my 9 to 5. But you don't want to have so much going on that you're bringing in pennies from all of your streams. So you want to probably focus on like 1 or 2, bring in that money, start stacking that. And if you want to have multiple streams after that, then you can. The thing about multiple streams is you just have to want to do multiple streams. You got to want to do multiple things. Do you have multiple ideas? That might be something that you might want to ask yourself. Like, if I have multiple ideas, how do I make them all work? Because I know one of my favorite things that I did during the pandemic was go to open box stores, purchase things for like under $8 and sell them for triple the price, because I knew how much, the items that I was buying was actually worth. So that was something that I focused on during the pandemic, and it brought in a good amount of money outside of my 9 to 5. I don't have much time outside of the 9 to 5 to really focus on too much more right now because I am planning a wedding. Like I said, I do Lavish and Thrifty, and my little side hustle is going to buy things and then selling them on Facebook Marketplace or like Poshmark to get extra income. So I don't really have too much time outside of that. So I'm not sure how many income streams you're trying to get, but I would say probably focus on one or two, get one or two ideas, and just go ahead and work your plan.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you're only one person. You can only be in one place at one time.
Exactly.
So that's really good. People stretch themselves thin and then they're running on empty and they're like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
That's really good. I think the goal is your money is making you money, like without you doing anything. You're sleeping and you're making money. That's the goal. But you also have to work. You have to work to get to that place. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yep. So and definitely use your 9 to 5 income to start that other stream.
Right.
So stick with your 9 to 5. If you have a 9 to 5, I'm not sure your situation, but if you have a 9 to 5, definitely use that money to start the first stream. And then once you start making income from that stream, if you have another idea, go ahead and start the third, second or third. So that's how you do it.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. All right. So we have approached our last question.
Okay.
All right. So, and before we answer this question, I just want to say if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Lacresia or myself will get back to you. And feel free to reach out to both of us. Before we get off of here, we'll make sure that you have our contact information.
Yes.
All right. So last, how much money do I need to retire without Social Security?
That's a good question. You'll want to figure out, I think the best way to answer this question is you'll want to figure out how do you want to live when you retire. Do you want to live how you're living right now? Do you want to live on less? Do you want to live on more? I'm not sure your current financial situation right now, but those are some of the things that you'll want to ask yourself, like, how do I want to live in retirement? What do I want to do? Do I want to be on the beach? Do I want to live in the same place, same house? I'm not sure if you have a house or not, or if you're still paying on it, or if it's paid off. Those are some of the things that you want to look at as you enter into retirement. It's kind of hard for me to say how much you'll need because I don't know you and I don't know your financial situation, but you'll definitely want to get your calculator out and start putting in some numbers to see, okay, what is it that I need to do? You'll want to evaluate your debt. Is all my debt going to be paid off in retirement? If it's not, then what do I need to do? Would I need to consider a part-time job in retirement? Should I retire right now? I don't know. Those are the things that you might want to ask yourself prior to retiring. But definitely figure out how you want to live. How do you want to live in retirement? I know I ask myself that all the time. So that's why right now I'm actually working towards, because to me, I'm thinking that based on this question, as they're talking about Social Security. So I'm thinking about they're talking about retirement as an age. When I talk about retirement for myself, I talk about it in terms of I could actually retire next year. If I perform my financial goals, like if I work towards the plan that I have in place, I can actually achieve that next year. I won't have retirement age, but I'll be, retired. So God willing, that'll happen, but I don't know. You never know how God's going to work. But to me, when I retire, I'm not waiting until age 65, 67. That's not what it means for me. But based on this question, I'm thinking it means age. So definitely just figure out how you want to live in retirement.
Yeah. That is really good. I'm thinking the same way you're thinking when it comes to like retiring, before, preferably before 50, but
Oh,
Definitely
45.
before
Okay.
40.
I might give you 10 more. I might give you 10 more.
Right. I think the retirement age is 65, right?
Yeah.
60, and then our early retirement is like 62, 63.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be.
That's not gonna work for me. That's
It
not
ain't
gonna
for
work.
me. It ain't for me. Not at all. Oh man. All right. Well, this was amazing. Again, I thank you so much. Oh, we just got smaller. I don't know what just happened. I thank you so much, Lacresia, for always blessing us with your financial wisdom, knowledge, and empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get off of here, could you let everyone know how they could keep in contact with you, social media,
Yeah.
website?
So you can find me at www.lavishandthrifty.com. You can reach out to me in that way. You can reach out to me via Instagram, Lavish and Thrifty. Facebook, join my Facebook group, Lavish and Thrifty. I can be reached by email at lavishandthriftylllc@gmail.com. Or just feel free to reach out to me right here on Facebook. Send me a DM, send me your questions. I am always glad to help.
Perfect. And I mean, you're here because you already know me, but follow Generation Genesis. You can kind of see the website in the background here, www.generationgenesis.net. Follow our page, Generation Genesis Today, and follow me on Facebook, Today Slaughter. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend, and your month. And remember to stay lavish and thrifty. See y'all.